1 Palladium Star. In fact, 6 is second. And that's Matiti Road, written by Darrell McClellan, number 1, third Palladium Star. And the rider Dan Beasley, 2 officially, 4th Thorns. Now the totes, number 7 has paid $6.70 and $2.20. Number 6 has paid $3.10. Number 1, $1.80. The Quinella, $42.20. Exacta, $72.80. Trifecta, $323.50. The first 4, 7, 6, 1, 2, 1,576.30. The 12 and 7 daily double, 146.30. And the special dividend with the scratching was $28. Time for the race. Have a listen to this. 1:39.91. I wonder what they ran their first 800 in. Strike me, Pinky would have beaten them on foot. So wasn't surprising to see G-Boss do what he did. 1:39.91. We're waiting on the sectional. We're waiting on advice from the stewards in relation to the start. And to coin a Bill Laurieism, it's all happening out here at Warwick Farm. We got more news? A length by a length and a half by a nose. Oh, sorry. A length and a half by a nose. A length and a half a nose. 1:39.91 and...
Okay, and there'll be no notification of correct weight until stewards have a look at the start to determine whether or not Thorns had every opportunity to jump cleanly. I don't think I've ever seen that horse in front in a race before, Diarman. That was one shock. I don't think I haven't, well, certainly I haven't seen Palladium Star that close in a race for ages. That was another shock. And as Ian said, it was a funny old race. And Thorns being left in the barrier. Okay.
Flying along in the Irwin. There's Border Time moving in. Rare Gold, his stablemate, has a white cap. Ben Claridge, the new rider. Up goes the Hind. Back for another campaign, the Hind. He's 7 years of age. Delaney coming forward. Starbucks walking up. Zip Infatuation set. On course, Scenic Warrior is the favourite, around half each way. So what you're getting on TAB is pretty much all that's on offer elsewhere. Accuse is a lot better than the $6. Border Time is a lot shorter than the $7. So it's the value at the moment outside of the 4. That's Border Time. And Rare Gold, a touch of overs at $11. And Real Time, it's not quite double figures on track. Just about ready. Darren Gauci and John Hawkes have chased Leon McDonald and Jason Holder in the 2 features so far. They've run second both times. No Leon McDonald runner here for the Tokyo City Cup. Rawson's Electrical, Tokyo City Cup. First time ever at 14.63. Normally a mile race at Morfettville. 7 or 8 running so far. Set and they're racing in the Tokyo City Cup. Real Time was out the back with Rare Gold. And first to begin, Border Time on the inside. Exalted Lad away fast from AV8. Starbucks is making ground. Accuse starting to work over from 14 barrier. Then Keymark, Real Time, Scenic Warrior. Bronze Roulette one off the fence. G Rally copped a slight check at the first turn. Had to be pulled off heels. Through on the rails went Delaney. Wide was Rare Gold. It's 4 wide at that turn, 1,000 out. Well back to Zip Infatuation. Mr. Selby and the Hind was last. Accuse worked over, wide out, got a half, 3/4 in front, and Gauci wants the lead on Accuse, and it drew about 3/4 clear of Starbucks, who was ridden along to boot through and hold it out. Then came on the outside, working forward in the race now was Real Time, followed by AV8, Exalted Lad in the box seat. Border Time getting one off the fence, moving Keymark wider, followed by Scenic Warrior. The Greys poised to pounce, he might be 6 off them, but he's under a good hold from Delaney, Bronze Roulette. Then came Rare Gold right around the outside. Rally gets going in front of that runner from Zip Infatuation, Mr. Selby and the Hind. 300 metres to go in the Tokyo City Cup. And here's Real Time moving up with Accuse to challenge Starbucks. Exalted Lad looking for a run, trying to boot through. Border Time's joining in down the outside past the 200. Real Time hit the lead, tackled by Border Time. Exalted Lad's coming hard on the inside now. And the Hind is starting to run on behind them. Border Time in front of Real Time, and Border Time won it from Real Time. Third was Exalted Lad, followed home by Accuse. The Hind was a top first up run, then Zip Infatuation, and wide out AV8. Mr. Selby made ground from Delaney. Rally, Scenic Warrior travelled well to the turn, then Starbucks, Keymark, followed well back to Bronze Roulette and Rare Gold. Border Time ridden by Paul Gatt for Mark Kavanagh, and Paul Gatt told us earlier on interview that Joe Bowditch chose Rare Gold over Border Time in the race, and Joe told us that himself, even though we perhaps didn't show that interview because he was indisposed for the rest of the day after injuring his arm. But Paul Gatt winning one of his biggest races, on border time for Mark Kavanagh, barrier 1, away Will, handed the lead up, got to the outside, and he sprinted well and ran right up to last week's second to Algermin Street. Doesn't make that form look good. Number 6, Real Time, Jared Lorenzini, Russell Cameron. That was a big run. He sat 3 deep outside at good speed, and he's fought on well for second. Russell Cameron at Flemington. And you'd say beaten by the barrier compared to the winner, barrier 1 as against 12. And we had Exalted Lad, beautifully handled by Jeff Morn, through on the inside. Just got held up a little in the early part of the straight, but then he just couldn't pick up to match the other two, such as their class. 3, 6, 9, 1, fifth home number 10. It's 1:20, I just missed that time, John. 34.83 was the sectional, and that's the Tokyo City Cup for 2002.
Good, Hilt, thank you. What a strong and vigorous rider this boy is, Paul Gatt. He punched border time strongly to the line to beat Real Time and Exalted Lad and Scenic Warrior. He just got a little brush as he came out to make his run in the straight, and he seemed to change his mind at that point and just, I don't think he put in at all over the last 200 metres. Never a hope. Doomben Raynham Castle in England is a big tourist attraction, a magnificent monument to its time, and the birthplace of Sir Winston Churchill. 343,000 in the wind pool here on the final event at Warwick Farm as we take you to Ian Craig.
Thank you, John. Final event out here, and the favourite is number 5, and that's He's on Fire, 3:20 and 1:30. Just a steward's report into Ha Ha. Gay reported, just in case you might have missed the run, it finished a conspicuous last in the Light Fingers. Gay reported the horse had worked well since the Gold Coast Magic Millions 3-year-old success. Jimmy Cassidy said the horse was slightly crowded at the start, travelled well to the 600, hit the turn at the 600, was gone. He said felt fine. It was discovered after the race that it had shifted both front plates, but the vet examined the horse twice after the race, and seemingly the filly had recovered well, no lameness. In the nitty-gritty, Gay is going to get her vet to look at the filly tonight and again tomorrow, but totally in the wash-up. The stewards have said that Ha Ha must trial to their satisfaction before being allowed to race again. So, it's been an interesting afternoon, and of the... we've got about 3 to move up here. I'm just looking at the winning jockeys today. Of the top 9 in the Premiership, Lenny Beasley, of course, out. The only jock that hasn't ridden a winner today is Darren Beatman, who's on the second pick here, Future Force. The winners have been, with only a couple to move in here, winners today: Smash Corey Brown, Spillway Brian York, Lonro Rod Quinn. Gwendolyn was ridden by Chris Muntz, 8/8 Jim Cassidy, Ancient Song Larry Cassidy, The Arm and Glen Boss. Now Blenheim Castle to come up. Yes, one to come along now for the final event of the day. That's Blenheim Castle, stablemate of Ancient Song, who won the Light Fingers for Rado Bolgen at Maruya. Rado's biggest success. Great return by Lonro today, and a great second in that was Viking Ruler. 8/8 winning the Expressway. But the shock of the day was the disappointing performance of Ha Ha. Now, Blenheim Castle refusing hard to load over here at the 1400. Greg Ryan, who rode Caser in the Expressway, is riding Real Silence for the trainer of Caser, Keith Swan. Now, Blenheim Castle being quite cantankerous. He's a lovely type of horse, a big chestnut. It's nearly right with Blenheim Castle. Brian York just regaining his seat in the saddle. Now the starter climbs the stand. And they're off on the last here at the farm, and Stanmark the roughie was a little slowly into stride. Blenheim Castle from the outside alley jumped quickly. So did Lunchtime Legend going up fast. Future Force right there, and so too He's on Fire and Real Silence. Not far back Mustard, followed by Stanmark, and dropping out to last is Court at Dawn. They're racing fairly tightly packed as they pass the 1100, and Future Force goes to the lead now. About 3/4 of a length to a length on Lunchtime Legend. Real Silence on the inside of He's on Fire. fire. Length and a half to Blenheim Castle. Mustard on the outside of Stanmark, and a length the Court at Dawn. This is the pattern, 800 metres to go. And Future Force for Darren Beedman shows the way. About a length and a quarter Lunchtime Legend. 1.5 to Real Silence. He's on fire, the favourite on the outside. Purple Jacket, White Stars. And then comes Blenheim Castle, Mustard, followed by Stanmark and Absolute as Court at Dawn as they race down to approach the home corner. 500 ahead of them here, and Future Force revved up in the lead. 3/4 Lunchtime Legend. A length the He's on Fire. Mustard behind those. Blenheim Castle with a white face is the deepest, and Real Silence with plenty of room along the rails, and then Court at Dawn straightening, and He's on Fire down to the 200. Pounced on Future Force. Little between them, and they've raced a length and a half. Real Silence next. Future Force finding its second wind. It accelerated, raced away for D. Beedman, and Future Force trots it in. Second, He's on Fire. Stanmark third. Close for fourth between Mustard and Court at Dawn from Lunchtime Legend. Real Silence dropped out, and Blenheim Castle ditto. Well, he's levelled up, D. Beedman. He couldn't let those other top jockeys all win a race without him, and he's been able to do it. So, as I said before the race, forgetting Lenny Beasley, who's sidelined through injury, leave him out. The other top 8 jockeys in the Premiership have all won a race here this afternoon. Number 4, the winner, Future Force, 5:20 and 190. Second placing, oh gee, He's on Fire. He's not overly possessed with a great deal of depth at the end of his races at this stage of his career. He's paid $1.40, and number 11 was prominent there at $5.10, the Canberra horse Stanmark. He'll get third. Here they go, 4, 5, 11 and 1. So the winner, as they get close elsewhere, the winner, number 4, 5:20 and 190 by Dane Hill from Winds of Peace, trained by John Hawkes, winning double for John, and raced by Graham Apps, Hobartville stud. 5:20, 190, number 5, 140, number 11, 5:10, Quinella, 9:10, Exacta, $20, Trifecta, 270, 190, the first 4, 4, 5, 11, 1, $1,290.20, and the time was 1:24.81. 1:24.81. We're standing by for margin, sectional, Superfecta news, and we'll return with that information as soon as posted.
Good calling, Ian. Well done. And Darren Beedman home in the last for John Hawkes. He's doing
the first heat.